there, welcome. This is the Kelly's Astrology podcast, where you can find insight, guidance, and understanding through astrology. I'm Kelly, and I'll be your host. Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Kelly's Astrology podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be taking a look at the astrology for the week starting January 13. And in today's episode, I'm going to focus on the planet Mercury. Mercury is going to change signs and move into Capricorn this week, which is great news astrologically. Mercury's moves are likely to help make life easier to manage, bring a little bit of clarity forward for all of us, and help make anything in general easier to organize. Before we dive into all the magic that Mercury has to offer us this week, I want to let you know about a special in-person event I'm leading in Palm Springs at the end of January. There are just 4 spots left, so if you'd like to take some time away from your regular life to connect with yourself, to learn some astrology, and to plan your year using divine insight and astrology, you'll want to register today. For 3 days, I'm going to be leading a retreat all about planning for the year ahead using astrology. Together, I'll take you through the astrological highlights and the general themes of 2024. And I'm also going to teach you some timing techniques that you can use in your personal chart to identify what patterns and cycles will be most influencing you and your life in the year ahead. In addition to timing with transits, you'll also learn the technique of progressions, as well as how to work with planetary periods, things like the minor and mean years of the planets, as well as the ascensional times for timing. You'll learn a mix of both ancient and newer timing techniques to help you deepen your understanding both of yourself, the astrological cycles that are showing up for you at different points in time, and also just how to do forecasting with astrology. You can find out more or register for this very special year ahead timing retreat in Palm Springs via the Astrology University website. So that's astrologyuniversity.com. I'll include the exact link below that'll take you directly to the retreat registration page. So with that said, back to this week. Mercury is going to move into Capricorn January 13 if you're in Canada and the US. That'll be January 14 if you're in the UK, Europe, or Australia. Mercury moving into Capricorn really helps Mercury shake off any of those lingering cobwebs of confusion from his retrograde last month. It'll also bring second chances about any missed opportunities from the first 3 weeks of December, which was the last time that Mercury was in this early part of Capricorn. You might also find that the next few days or the next few weeks bring an opportunity to revisit any plans or goals that you've lost focus with that actually originated back then in those first 3 weeks of December. As Mercury heads into Capricorn this weekend, so the second weekend of January is what we're looking at, clarity returns. It is such a great shift for Mercury. So you might naturally find yourself wanting to focus on more practical plans or reconnecting with some long-term priorities. Mercury in Sagittarius had a real focus on storytelling and on learning. And hopefully that helped you better understand the big picture of where you're at or why you might be where you are. But Mercury in Sagittarius might have made it tricky to manage details or specifics. Mercury in Sagittarius is great on big picture, but not so good on the little everyday matters, or not so good on details like specifics and timelines and that type of thing. So this sign shift by Mercury on this second weekend in January is a technically great improvement for the planet Mercury. And so in the days and weeks after January 13 or 14, you too might notice improvements in your life. I always think, our life kind of follows the planets. So if an important planet like Mercury is moving into a better place, that can be a clue that each of us is being guided towards moving towards a better place or being given clues as to how to make an improvement in our own lives. And some of those improvements that you might be able to put in place now will be around typical Mercury matters like communication and technology, as well as anything to do with planning, logistics, organizing, anything to do with kind of thinking, information, managing information, organizing. That's all going to get a boost with Mercury moving into Capricorn. So if you need to upgrade some technology, if you've got a device that you need to run some software upgrades on, or you need to buy a new piece of technology, once Mercury gets into Capricorn, that's going to be a little bit more supported astrologically. Mercury also rules anything to do with contracts, paperwork, and all kinds of communication, like expressing your point of view. So all of those things, managing paperwork and documents, speaking and communicating, like getting your ideas out there, it's just going to be clearer and more concrete. You're going to be able to be more to the point, and other people are going to be able to focus on the facts of what you're saying. So Mercury in Capricorn is kind of just the facts, man. You know, it's very much about what is it that is the essential pieces of info that we need to know? What is it, you know, what boxes do we have to tick? If you're dealing with government organizations or you're looking for approval on something, Mercury in Capricorn can make sure that you get all of your paperwork organized, that you've got everything that is required. Capricorn is an earth sign. So it's very much about the material world. It's about practical matters. It's also about, you know, all of our stuff as well. But it's an earth sign ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is the ancient planet of agriculture, of time passing. And so with Mercury in Capricorn, there is this really serious, thoughtful, and considered quality. So you might find that you're a little bit more maybe mature in your thinking. You might be a little bit more cautious in your thinking and planning now. Mercury in Capricorn wants to kind of help you set yourself up for success by helping you choose or commit to things that are actually doable, that are manageable, that are realistic, that are in that realm of reality or in the realm of the tangible. So that Mercury in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, having this cautious quality, this really might encourage you or make it easier, might inspire you to do some research before you make a commitment or a plan. It might help you clarify expectations or discuss responsibilities in advance. There's a really substantive quality to Mercury in Capricorn. And that shows that whatever it is we stick to, or that whatever it is we promise now while Mercury is in Capricorn, we're going to stick to it. So take your time before deciding. And Mercury in Capricorn wants to do something well, but is not going to be in a rush to make that agreement. So whether it's research, whether it's doing your due diligence, whether it's having some more exploratory conversations, Mercury in Capricorn is like, I want to make sure I understand exactly what's expected of me before I say yes. Because with Mercury in Capricorn, when we do say yes, we're really going to honor that commitment. We're going to uphold that promise. Mercury is going to be in Capricorn until February 5th. So we have a good 3 and a bit weeks to really use this very grounded, very cautious, but very intentional energy of Mercury. So with Mercury in Capricorn, you know, doing that research means that you'll fully understand whatever commitment or obligation you're taking on before you actually say yes. Mercury in Capricorn might also bring a reality check around responsibilities or duties that are no longer working or that you need to rethink. So if that's the case for you, I'd encourage you to be really clear about your expectations, your availability, your capacity, and your timelines. Mercury in Capricorn is so good for being realistic and for sort of tuning into what is a sustainable, reasonable way to move forward. You might also find that you get a deeper understanding of time management. You might be more honest or clear with yourself about exactly how long a particular task or commitment is going to take. You know, sometimes I find when one of my biggest issues with like setting my schedule each week or managing my commitments is that I just don't realize how much energy or how much time something is actually going to take. So I think I can do, you know, 3 of X task on the one day without realizing that actually I'm going to need 3 days to do those 3 things, whether it's recording a podcast or putting together videos for the membership. I like to have time to kind of prepare and do it and then to kind of recharge after. So I can't just, maybe batch things the way other people might. And as I've become more honest with myself about how much time things really take, it has made my calendar run so much more smoothly, which means I'm running more smoothly. And that's just been a great thing. But it started by being realistic and honest with myself about just how much time something takes. So maybe there's a piece in this Mercury and Capricorn cycle for you as well about being really honest with yourself or someone else about how much time or energy something is going to take. And that way you'll be able to plan accordingly. Now, while Mercury's in Capricorn, he is, of course, going to be making aspects and linking to a variety of other planets. This week, starting January 13, the 2 planets that Mercury is linking to are Saturn and Jupiter. So we're now looking specifically at January 18 and 19, which are 2 really productive days from the point of view of Mercury. So on January 18, Mercury is working with Saturn in Pisces, and on January 19, Mercury is working with Jupiter in Taurus. Now, even though they're technically happening on different calendar dates, from an experiential or from an energetic flow perspective, Mercury is basically linking to Saturn and then immediately linking to Jupiter. So kind of tying Jupiter and Saturn together for a period of time. And so this is a very favorable type of planetary pattern. As Mercury does work with Saturn in Pisces and Jupiter in Taurus, it's going to bring lots of support to any desire that you have to organize your calendar, to manage your time, and to sort out those longer range plans. Mercury linking to Saturn and Jupiter in quick succession like this can really help foster connection. It can also help you align your intentions with people and with routines or rituals that will help make them happen. So it is a very constructive, productive pattern. This favorable pattern, which is technically a trine from Mercury to Jupiter shortly after Mercury makes a sextile to Saturn, this favorable combination can really help you build and grow towards priorities that matter. So that idea of building, growing, and even that concept of accumulation is really highlighted by this pattern. You might construct a plan, you might collaborate with a supportive or helpful person, or you might finally feel like the pieces of a larger goal are coming together. This is really great for forging alliances or forming agreements that are going to have this gravitas and this weightiness and this enduring tone to them. Now, this Mercury, Saturn, Jupiter pattern, this can also help you bring some loving attention to those important but kind of boring long-term plans. Those kind of plans that really influence the structure and the form of our daily and weekly lives. That could be sorting out schooling for yourself or for a child. It might be figuring out a major financial goal or plan. It might be taking time to be really intentional with work and wellness goals or intentions. It's really less about how to have the most productive day today, like on January 18 or 19. And it's more about how you can use the planetary combinations on those days, January 18 and 19, to help you create a container for your ongoing success, for your ongoing achievement, or for your ongoing kind of output. So it's a little bit like learning what will help you be consistent towards an important goal, or help you be really kind of reliable to yourself and to others about sticking with that ongoing effort required to help you achieve this longer term goal. I do think we could use the word perhaps manifestation in this combination of energies with Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter. And some of us are going to realize an achievement under these patterns on January 18 and 19th. But for many of us, we're going to realize a piece of wisdom or insight that is like the key that unlocks how to move forward for ongoing support and success. This combination of planets is very much about the slow and steady approach. And so this pattern with Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter can help you better understand how that value of a little consistent effort over an extended time frame can really pay off. I know it sounds totally boring, but I also know it's kind of this, one of those secrets to success. A little bit of effort towards that goal or that intention on a daily or weekly basis is so effective. And there are other times and other planetary aspects where it's all about spontaneity and impulsiveness, but this is very much about a little bit consistently over time, and the payoff or the reward, the achievement for that. That's very much this Mercury, Saturn, Jupiter combination. This pattern might also bring some really hopeful insights about education, about travel, and about transport. It might also bring some more stable economic news as well. And that's particularly tied to the Mercury trine Jupiter aspect, which is very much associated with good news and welcome developments. The moon is also tapping into this Mercury Jupiter combination on the 18th. And so that just adds even more emphasis into the sort of juicy potential for progress and connection on January 18 and 19. It might also help reveal some hope or help you hone in on a kind of good thing that you can look forward to give you a sense, a little bit of to give the time ahead a little bit of perspective or shape, but also to have something really uplifting that you know is out there that you're working towards. So there is some really lovely and helpful astrology this week. Mercury leaving the sign of its detriment, Sagittarius, and moving into Capricorn. It's a great improvement. It's not about feeling necessarily like not lighter or celebratory. Mercury in Capricorn is serious and thoughtful and intentional, but is really practical. And I think that if you keep that image of like building the container, building the shape or the focus of your days and weeks, we can really get some great insights and great clues or realizations about how to do that out of both Mercury coming into Capricorn, but especially the collaborations that Mercury in Capricorn has with Saturn in Pisces and Jupiter in Taurus. So I hope you're able to make the most of this helpful astrology this week. As always, let us know in the comments section below. If you are enjoying the podcast, please like, subscribe, or follow along wherever you are listening. And I wish you a really wonderful week. Bye for now, everyone.